Hey guys, happy Friday. Ash and Kaylee here from Really Fit. Today we're going to be talking to you guys about digestion and how much it affects your weight loss efforts. And I can speak personally about this, so I'll get into that a little bit later. But if you have any digestive issues and they present in the way of constipation, diarrhea, it could be heartburn, indigestion, sounds like a commercial at this point. You can get brain fog, you can get rashes on your face, which I get, a lot of breakouts and stuff, and irritability, not being able to sleep. So a lot of these that you might not associate with being triggers and symptoms of having digestive issues, they are. So this is what Kaylee's going to talk about today. She's a little bit more of an expert on this. I am more from experience, and I didn't take school on this, but so I'm going to have Kaylee delve into it, and then later I'll kind of talk about my experience and hopefully help you guys a little bit more so you can lose weight and feel great.
We will give you some recommendations at the end as well to help improve your digestion.
Yes.
So she covered basically all of the symptoms. So things you would never think about it, like she said, fatigue and lethargy. Allergies can even be a factor.
Oh, yeah.
Acne. So it's more than just feeling constipated or having diarrhea or having, bloating. There's so many things associated with your digestion. So I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the main causes. So kind of what I'm talking about here is more of an underactive stomach. So most people, myself included, actually present with an underactive stomach. Basically all of that means is that you don't have enough HCl, so hydrochloric acid, in your stomach to break down your food properly. And this is a huge factor, especially with our population now, because of the foods that we're eating and the processed foods. So a bunch of the causes that can cause you to have an underactive stomach, one is first having a diet that's rich in animal protein. So that would be mainly red meat and dairy. They're hard to break down. So when you're consuming that daily, it can have an effect on you.
Especially multiple times.
Yeah, if people, like, we have a burger for lunch and then a steak for dinner, that's really, really hard, with your big glass of milk and your cheese on your burger.
And yogurt for a snack.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then refined and processed sugars are really going to have an effect on your digestion. Basically, anything that's processed is going to affect you, okay? It's harder for you to break down. Whole foods are easier. Your body has enzymes already inside of you to take down whole foods. When you bring in something that's processed, your body doesn't have an enzyme for, like, Cheese Whiz. It's like, what is this food that's inside of me and what do I do with it? So it just sits there, and then it starts to ferment or go rancid, and that's when it starts to really wreak havoc on your body. And then another few things is actually faulty eating habits, and people don't often think about that. They just think about, well, I ate fast food, so I feel bloated. But the way you eat has a huge impact on your digestion. And something as simple as chewing, it's something like 85 to 90% of people aren't chewing properly. So as gross as it sounds, you essentially want to chew your food until it's almost liquid form. So many people, they're in a rush and they eat their burger and they swallow it half whole. Then it gets into your body and you have a chunk of beef and a chunk of white bread sitting there, and your body has to do so much work to try to break that down. And while it's working on your digestion, it's not working on the other parts of your body. Okay, so it's not helping to detoxify the liver, which is why then you start to break out, because your body's not detoxifying properly, or why you'll have brain fog or you're tired because your body's literally so focused on breaking the food down that nothing else is getting accomplished. So improper chewing, as well as we talked about this a little bit last week when we did the fasting, or maybe it was this one before, but about drinking too much liquid with your meals. So again, you don't want to be chugging water right up before you eat or right after you eat or during your food. You want to drink some water before, about 20 minutes before, have some water about 20 minutes after. And if you do need to have water, that's okay, but just have small sips. And you also don't want it to be ice cold. If you have super, super cold water while you're eating, it can also halt your digestion. What else have I got here? Oh, food combining. I'm not going to go super into that today because I think we can do a full Facebook Live on food combining. But essentially, if you have digestive issues, it's hard to combine carbs and protein together. It just makes your body do extra work. So this is just something for people that feel really like bloated and those kind of things. That's not something that everybody has to worry about. But like I said, I will touch more on that in a future Facebook Live. And lastly, we did talk about this as well in the past, but stress. So how you're feeling before you eat. If you're in a huge rush and you're shoveling food down and you're stressed about what you have to do and your cortisol levels are super high, as soon as those cortisol levels go up, your digestion basically stops. So you need, as much as I know this is hard, you need to sit down, chew your food properly, and be present and mindful about what you're eating. Once you're distracted and you're chasing after the kids and you're trying to run out the door, your body's just in chaotic mode and isn't going to break it down. I know that's a challenge. We've got a lot of moms that watch us, but just try every day to take a few minutes to sit down and really think about how much you're chewing, and just try to take some deep breaths and enjoy the food that you're eating.
Yeah, one way I actually do that with Rowan is I make sure like the TV, everything's off, and then so when we're eating, it's just quiet and it's just her and I, and then that way you have a little bit of time to focus.
And it's hard. Like I sometimes will be working on stuff at home and I have the TV on and someone's texting me and I'm eating my salad and I'm like, Kaylee, what are you doing? Take 15 minutes, enjoy your food. So those are kind of the things that will cause you to have the digestive issues. So now I want to talk about some of the effects that happen when you're not doing those things. So when you're eating, when you're rushed, when you're not chewing properly, when you're eating processed foods and too much meat. So it's going to have a major effect on your colon. So whether you're constipated or you have diarrhea or you kind of go in and out of both, which is really common with people. So it's also going to lead to poor absorption. So basically, if your body's not breaking down the food into the particles and the molecules that it's supposed to be broken down into, it's going to get rancid in your body, and then eventually it's going to find its way out of your digestive system, and it's going to either be like putrefied or rancid, which will cause all those issues, or it's just not going to break down small enough to get into your bloodstream to go where it's supposed to go. So basically, you could be eating a perfectly clean diet, and you're like, why is my iron low? I'm eating tons of food with iron, or why is this happening? My B vitamins are low, my energy is low. Why is it? I'm eating lots of B vitamins. If you're not absorbing the food, it doesn't matter what you eat. You could eat the cleanest diet, you could work out 7 days a week and be perfectly healthy, but if you have issues with digestion, you're not gonna get the benefits from the food.
Mm-hmm. Or the weight loss.
And like I was saying too, like allergies is a huge thing that comes from digestion, and people don't think about that because it sounds like a weird connection, but if you suffer from a lot of allergies, oftentimes if you can get your digestion on track, you'll see reduction in the symptoms that you have.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So we do have some recommendations. I kind of almost covered them a little bit when we talk about the symptoms and stuff. But one of the things that you can do is eating smaller, more frequent meals. So I know that might sound like weird when we just talked about fasting last week, but you can do this while still fasting. So if you're going with like an 8-hour eating window, you can just make sure that maybe every 2 to 3 hours you're consuming something as opposed to doing just 2 big meals. So you can still do both and get the benefits from both of them. With a smaller meal, it just means it's less of a burden on your digestive system. It's easier for it to break down. And that also would be simple meals. So not maybe having a crazy complex salad that has 3 different kinds of lettuces and it's got Brussels sprouts and it's got bacon and it's got hard-boiled egg. As much as it's great to get as many nutrients in your body as you can at once, sometimes when you're having digestive issues, just break it down to super simple ingredients. Keep it to about maybe 5 things. Have a salad with a hard-boiled egg to get some protein in there and have a few different veggies. Just keep it simple and your body will thank you. And then again, like we talked about, limiting the animal proteins. So I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian and you can't eat meat. Eating smaller portions and less often. So if you have like a 12-ounce steak in front of you, your body is just going to be in shambles trying to break that down. 3 to 4 ounces is ideal at a portion, like at a time.
That's why people get meat sweats.
Yeah.
Because your body, when people go and they eat like a lot of meat, like at a barbecue or a function or the keg or something like that, and they eat a lot of meat at one time, they get the meat sweats because their body is like, how the hell am I going to break this down? And
most don't chew their steak and stuff properly.
Yeah.
It's actually like the #1 choking food for adults is steak.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
So if you're not chewing it and you're eating too much, you're just setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. Another thing and this is obvious, is limiting the amount of processed foods that you consume. Trying to keep things as whole and as natural as possible. That goes with sugars, as well as eliminating or reducing your intake of caffeine and alcohol. Okay? I know it doesn't sound like the most fun, but your body will thank you. What else we got here? Proper food combining. Like I said, I will talk about that again more in the next few weeks. And then limiting the water intake while you're consuming food, but increasing your water intake while you're not eating. So making sure that you're getting lots of water to keep that body hydrated and keep it ready to go. And again, reducing stress when it comes to, reducing stress in general is going to help with your digestion as well as weight loss. Like we said, as soon as you are stressed, the cortisol comes up, your digestion stops. And if you find that you have that spare tire and that you're eating well and you're working out and you can't figure out why you're not losing weight, especially around the midsection, 90% of the time it's cortisol. I actually just made up that number 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But I just mean it's a lot. Very often it's
Yeah.
your stress levels. When you see that tire, it's stress.
Or the opposite way from like slowing things down, I guess in a way it still is a digestive slowdown, but diarrhea. Because a lot of people get nervous stomach if they're really stressed and they have diarrhea, and then you're not absorbing any of your nutrients and your vitamins and
So
stuff.
if you're wondering why you would get diarrhea, it's like, well, obviously breaking things down and getting diarrhea. Basically, it's going through you so quickly that your body's not even having time to absorb the nutrients. So that's not a good sign either. You want a nice, solid poop. Ideally 2 to 3 times a day. Some people think once a day means that they're not constipated, but you want at least 2. If you think about it, if you're having 3 meals a day, the perfect transit time is between 12 and 18 hours. So you should have 3 poops a day.
Yeah.
But don't stress if you only have 2, but try to get it up to the 2.
Yeah. And a lot of women only have like a poo every 3 days.
I know. I
Which
can't
is
even
crazy.
fathom that.
So, so that was me. So to go back to my story, because I can talk so personally about digestive issues and how much it had an effect on my health and my weight loss. Like when I was young, I had a lot of diarrhea, and like it was just constant. And then so my iron was low. I felt like crap, like really poor nutrient absorption and stuff like that. And then it turned opposite as I got into my 20s, and I got super constipated. And the longest I ever went for, without going to the bathroom once was 9 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so painful, and the doctors were
don't
actually
even feel
almost,
like you.
No,
Like-
it was awful, and the doctors were actually almost going to put me into the hospital to
force it out.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me, we should do a Facebook Live on how to make you more regular.
Yeah.
That's one that we can totally do, of ways to help you get on
Yeah.
track with that.
Because if your digestion's off, you're just full of toxins. If you're constipated or if you're having diarrhea, then you're not absorbing any of your nutrients. So,
Yeah.
and if those are the kind of reactions you're getting, is because you're eating foods that are inflammatory to you. And so if things are inflammatory to you, then you're not going to lose weight and you're not going to feel good.
Yeah.
So it is so crucial to have proper digestion for not only your weight loss, but for your energy, for your focus, for sleeping,
Clear skin, for sex drive.
yeah, for all of
If
that.
you're not pooping and you feel bloated and constipated all the time, you're never going to want to get down and dirty.
No,
Ever.
I get
Or if you
literally-
have diarrhea.
Yeah, I literally felt like when I was like that, I literally could feel the poo in me. Like I could like touch it, and like no, you don't feel sexy during
And
that
that's
time.
the thing, is that, think about it, if the poop's not coming out, it's sitting inside of your body, releasing toxins
It
constantly.
made me exhausted.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted when I was constipated.
Yeah, and it hurts. Like, you have that bloated, like,
Yeah.
ugh.
So a lot of women that I've worked with over the years are constipated. It's very common for women to be constipated, and they think, oh, that's just my regular routine.
My
My
doctor said it was normal.
Yeah, I just poo every couple of days. That's normal. That's normal for me. No, it's not normal.
No.
And you need to figure it out, and you need to have proper digestion if you want to feel good. You want to have good hormonal balance, and then you also want to be losing weight. So for any of you that are struggling with weight loss and then getting these symptoms on a regular basis, not now, thank you. It's going to affect your weight loss efforts. So there is hope, don't give up, and especially if it's right around your tummy area, that is something that needs to be addressed, and a lot of it has to do with digestion.
Question is, what do you think about colonics? I haven't done a ton of research on this.
I have. I actually used to go and get a lot of them.
Is that like the same as an enema?
No, it's different. So colonic was like, I would literally go and they would stick like something up my butt and then push water into it.
Okay, yeah.
And then pull the water out. Where colonic is basically they just like shoot something up.
You mean an enema?
Or enema, yeah. They just like give you like a little bit of, I feel like it's different. Isn't it just like a pill and then you end up pooing?
Oh, I thought it was, maybe I'm thinking of a colonic thing, because I thought that was where they...
Anyways, to answer your question, when I was constipated like really, really, really badly years ago, I did go and get them, and it did give me relief. Like I would literally, it sounds horrible, but I would literally lose like 5 pounds of shit. Like it was disgusting. But I felt really good after. My only concern about it is that it can train your body not to go to the bathroom. So
gets dependent on it?
Yeah, so you don't want to do it too much. Same with laxatives and stuff. Like I was taking laxatives at the time, and you slow down your body's natural response to know how to do that. So you don't want to overdo it on laxatives. You don't want to overdo it on colonics or anything like that that's not natural for your body. I wasn't listening to my body. My body was talking to me, and I needed to change the way I was eating. And a lot of that for me came down to gluten and dairy. That's why I promote it so strongly. But yeah, So yes, if you want some immediate relief, go for it, but I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time. It did make my stomach look flatter, and it did help like just feel more energized and stuff immediately. But I do know I was going so regularly at one point, like every couple weeks or every week at one point maybe, it was slowing down my digestion and it was increasing my constipation, which is exactly what I was trying to help.
Yeah.
So.
And you could be thinking too, like, well, I eat really clean. I already eat really clean, but I'm still bloated. I'm still constipated. What's going on? Just because it's a healthy food doesn't mean that it's healthy for you.
Yeah.
So, for example, when you think about nightshades, so that's things like tomatoes, red peppers, eggplant, some people react really, really bad to those.
Yes.
They're super inflammatory to people, like with arthritis and stuff like that. So just because it's healthy for one person doesn't mean that it's biochemically healthy for your system.
Yeah. So that where it comes into like food journaling and just knowing like I know, I was saying to Kaylee yesterday when we were preparing for this, like I know when I was like super sensitive, I had to really watch my food combining, because if I had any sort of fruit with my meal, like any sort of like fruit in my salad or stuff, like I would get so gassy and bloated. Like I wake up with a flat stomach and then all of a sudden look like I was like 3 months pregnant from the food I was eating. But I just knew, like I was just like, wow, every time I eat fruit with my meal, or even eat it like immediately after as like a dessert, I immediately get bloated and really gassy. And so I just need to listen to my body. So and that was a healthy food. So you just need to listen to your body too. And like, if it's talking to you, it's talking to you for a reason, and you need to adjust that.
And when you spoke about the fruit there, that's a really great point, is that a lot of people don't really think about it, and you think, oh, if I'm going to have a bowl of fruit for dessert, like that's a really nice, healthy choice. Unfortunately, the sugars in fruit break down almost immediately. They basically go through your stomach, and then they're broken down in your small intestine. But like protein and fats, they're broken down in your stomach. So say you have a nice big steak dinner, you have a nice pasta dinner with chicken. As soon as you eat that fruit, it's sitting on top of that food. So it's supposed to go right through and do its thing. But instead, it's sitting on top, it starts to break down, and then it starts to ferment. And that's why you get that crazy bloating. So, one of those appetizers that I used to love was prosciutto wrapped melon. It's like the worst thing you can do for your digestive system. It's okay, you can do asparagus because they break down differently than fruit. But putting fruit with protein or fruit with carbs is more often than not something that's going to cause a lot of bloating and discomfort.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to touch on Wednesday night that I didn't get a chance to because I canceled, so thank you for your understanding. But if I do get that, like, so say I go to a function and then naturally I'm going to have some some fruit with that meal just because that's what they're offering, or I want to indulge a little bit because it's a holiday or something like that, I try to have something like asparagus, and I try to have some apple cider vinegar or anything that's going to be like a little bit of a diuretic, and then the apple cider vinegar also acts as like a balancer, so like a pH balancer.
Yeah.
So that's going to help your stomach feel better as well. So if I'm super bloated from something, as I mentioned before, I take like a shot of apple cider vinegar, and that seems to help a lot. And then I try to have like a workout session, and it's a different mental thing now. I don't do it because I'm abusing myself because I overate and I feel guilty for it. I do it because I want to sweat. And then it just makes me feel good, and it starts to get, like, as soon as you get your body moving, and it starts to work your digestion. It's like when people go for runs and they have to like go off to the forest and take a dump because their digestion gets going. So I just find that it helps to get everything moving again.
Even just a walk.
Yep. So that helps too. And then a bath with Epsom salts and stuff. So that can help to kind of release some of like the bloating, the water, the discomfort. So
it's funny though, because certain foods will trigger, and you guys can let us know some of the foods that you find that as soon as you eat, you're bloated. Like some of my favorites, if I'm having an off day, like if I have Brussels sprouts, like I love them more than anything, and I'm not giving them up. But I definitely am like, if I'm going to go out tonight, I don't know if I want to have Brussels sprouts because I know I might have a little bit more of a food baby.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like bloating sometimes isn't always awful. Sometimes foods just release a bit more gas in your stomach.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with that, but it's when it gets that super discomfort where you look like you're pregnant, you feel awful and you feel tired. You don't want that every day. Bloating from time to time. Like yesterday, I was just having one of those days where like I literally looked 6 months pregnant. I ate totally clean. I don't know what it was. Like it was hard.
Sometimes it can be hormones too.
Yeah. And I had some peppermint tea, had a digestive enzyme, and I felt fine this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, which you did want to talk about digestive enzymes really quick. So digestive enzymes are amazing for anybody that experiences bloating. We have a brand here. I know it's backwards, but it's by Renew Life. But there's tons of different awesome brands out there. but they can be taken just before your meal. So if you know you're about to eat something that sometimes bothers you, or it's going to be a big meal, or just in general you have problems digesting food, including a digestive enzyme into your routine is a game changer. Literally, you take one before, and if it's really bad, you can take up to 2 or 3. But it's just going to put in some extra enzymes in your body to help you break down that food faster. So it's going to help make you more regular. It's going to reduce your bloating. It's going to increase your energy because your body's not going to be exhausted while it's trying to digest all your food. And they're not too expensive, which is nice. A lot of supplements are crazy expensive, but digestive enzymes typically aren't as bad.
No, they're not, and they're cheaper than probiotics, but we do recommend probiotics.
Oh, 100%. Still keep your probiotic, yeah.
Yeah. So we would love to know if you guys have any questions, like if there's certain things that you're curious about when it comes to your digestion, or if there's just some concerns about particular weight loss issues that you're having, just please let us know.
Yeah. And like I said,
that's all.
Oh, no, I talked about the fruit. I wanted to go into that, but no.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're unsure about when I was talking about the food combining, we will do a Facebook Live on that. And I think we should do one on how to make yourself more regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's like one of the biggest questions I get asked is like, how do I make myself poop more?
Yeah.
And we both clearly love to talk about poop. So
because you're not healthy if you're not pooping all the time.
No,
I know
you can't be into nutrition and not be into poop. I'm sorry, but it just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, you should be proud of your poops, and and you know if you're pooping regularly and like healthy ones, not like diarrhea. Oh my god, my stomach's bloated and uncomfortable all the time. But if you're having healthy poops regularly, you're going to be in a better state to lose weight properly.
Oh yeah.
And just as a side note, for the digestive enzymes, the probiotics and stuff, or the apple cider vinegar, all these tips we're giving you that if you sometimes get constipated or bloated, please don't use that as an excuse to eat shitty food.
Yeah.
So on a regular basis,
don't like eat chips and chug apple cider vinegar alongside.
Yeah, it's not a reason to like overindulge or eat bad foods. Of course, you're gonna do that once in a while, but on a regular basis, like if you're bloated every day, you need to change what you're doing. And a big one for that is if you wake up feeling bloated and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I've barely even had anything to eat and I'm suddenly bloated, take the milk or the cream out of your coffee and your tea.
Yeah.
Because that causes a lot of bloating.
It's crazy how much better you feel, just everything in general, how much better you feel when you're not bloated.
Yeah.
It's like your mind's clearer when you're pooping regularly. Like, there's a reason why people come out of the bathroom and they're like, oh, I feel so good.
Yeah. You feel so much
you feel lighter.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no worse feeling than feeling heavy all day and weighed down and sluggish.
Yeah. I agree. So no questions. It was a
quiet group today.
Yeah, nobody feels comfortable talking about pooping. But anyways, we hope you guys enjoyed. Please let us know if you have any questions for the next 24 hours. We'll pop on here.
Oh, we should bring up tonight too.
Oh, okay, yeah. If anybody's around this area in Whitby or Durham in general, Durham, Clarington, we're doing a free event tonight. It's an exclusive event. It's at Little Beast Brewery. They haven't even opened their doors yet, so they're doing it exclusively for us, which is pretty amazing. And you can come sample some of their beer. We're giving away free samples, as well as some giveaways, some free classes, and
we'll be doing a pound demo. So
we'll be doing a pound demo.
About 15 minutes, so probably about 3, maybe 4 tracks. You can come join us. It doesn't mean you have to come in workout gear. I might even just be wearing jeans. It's only going to be 15 minutes, so if you've never tried Pound and you want to check it out, you can come try that.
Yeah, and just come hang out with like-minded people. Like we're people that like to work out, but not obsess over it to the fact where we're not going to go out on a Friday night and have some fun and maybe drink some beer. And Nicole,
I have to meet a lot of people. Yeah. I haven't met a lot of the online people.
Yeah, so. And Nicole wants to have chips there, so things are going to get crazy. Things are going to get
beer
crazy.
and chip party, 7 till 9.
Yeah, 7 till 9. Yes, thank you very much. What's this? Fallon, and when do you drink the kombucha?
Anytime. Yeah, I drink it. Sometimes I have it in the morning. Sometimes I have it before bed. Sometimes I have it with meals, without. There's basically no wrong time. Just don't drink like multiple bottles a day. Like, you know what I mean? I usually, especially if you've never had it, maybe start with a half a bottle, the regular. Actually, I have a bottle right here. I refilled it with water. But about that size of bottle. If you're new to it, drink about half, but I have no problem doing a full bottle. Just know that it will make you burp in the best possible way.
Yeah. It's carbonated, right? And so you have to be careful with how much you drink during eating, not just because of we don't want you to drink a lot while you're eating, but also because the carbonation can slow down your digestion as well.
Yeah, but it's like a good burp.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
Feels
you're just like, oh yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you so much for popping on here, guys. We hope to see you tonight, and we hope that you guys have an awesome day, rainy and all, maybe
Friday the
badass.
13th.
Oh yeah, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love freaky stuff. So anyways, we hope you guys have a great one, and we will see you tonight or next week on Facebook Live.
Bye.
Bye.